If you followed my work for a while, you've probably heard or read me rant at some point about how much I dislike the bench pull as a strength training exercise for rowers. In case you've missed it, check out my article in the video description box below. In the bench pull, the rower lies prone, grabs the bar, and clanks it against the bottom of the bench to count the rep. Traditionalist rowing coaches typically use the bench pull for very high reps for endurance training, or occasionally max weight to test upper body strength. I'll cover other exercises that I like more than the bench pull later in this video. First, if you must bench pull, there are a few ways to do it better to get more out of it and reduce risk of injury from it. First, use a properly padded bench. I often see rowers using a literal wooden plank with a piece of yoga mat on it, and you might as well just take a baseball bat to the rib cage at that point. Second, adjust the starting position so that you can grab the bar from a good shoulder position at the bottom. I often see athletes having to reach extra far forward or grab the bar with one hand at a time, and that puts the shoulders in a really challenging, compromised position before the exercise even begins. This needs to be adjusted for athletes of different heights or arm lengths. Finally, treat the bench pull like an actual good strength training exercise instead of just clanking out reps by any means necessary. I'm demonstrating good technique here. Initiate the pull with the lats, keeping shoulders down. Squeeze to the top position, and then lower with a controlled 2-to-1 tempo. I like to use a pad or pool noodle around the bar. This not only prevents clanking, but also adds a tactile cue at the top position, helping the athlete get more muscular stimulus out of the exercise with an emphasis on good control of the top position at the point of maximum contraction. Here are a few common bench pull errors. Don't let the shoulders shrug up, shifting the load to the upper trapezius muscles. We want to erg and row from more of a shoulders neutral or shoulders down position, so we want to strength train from that position too. Keep the rest of the body stable with no arching of the back or neck. The ostensible purpose of a bench pull is to isolate the arms and upper back muscles, so do that and don't kick around with the lower body. Terminate the set if these errors occur, or if the athlete preserves technique but loses range of motion or tempo control of the exercise. Here are several horizontal pulling exercises that I like much more than the bench pull. These exercises increase coordination demands compared to lying prone on a bench and increase the challenge for the shoulder stabilizers, both of which are important for an unstable movement like rowing on the water. They also avoid direct stress on the rib cage. The Batwing Row is basically a bench pull, but we use dumbbells instead of a barbell. This increases challenge by using each arm independently, requires more from the shoulder stabilizer muscles, and increases range of motion at the top position. Even though we're still in the prone position against the bench, less weight means less stress on the rib cage. I also like to use a 3 to 5 second hold at the top position, which increases the muscular stress even more, reduces the weight, and therefore also the stress on the rib cage even further. This is a great exercise to teach athletes the shoulders down retraction position to engage the lat muscles even better. We can also do alternating arm batwing rows, which gets the isometric hold at the top position with one arm while the other arm does the rowing motion. This is a great challenge for coordinating one arm and shoulder blade at a time, while also adding the strength challenge of holding the top position for the other arm. Using an incline bench changes the angle of pull and shifts the muscular emphasis a little bit. This is nice for variety, and I find it's often easier for athletes to feel the lat connection and contribution on the incline bench versus the flat bench. Use isometric and alternating variations from the incline bench position as well. The bodyweight row is my favorite horizontal pulling exercise for rowers. There are a dozen variations that we can use to keep this exercise challenging and engaging. There's no direct pressure on the rib cage. The athlete is challenged to move their body through space while coordinating multiple body parts, and we're getting some core strengthening from the reverse plank position as well. I use a lot of single arm exercises with rowers, especially sweep rowers who often develop one arm and one side of the back to be stronger than the other. Single arm exercises help mitigate left-right imbalances. I also like the Landmine Row a lot with the barbell perpendicular to the rower as a single arm exercise that also trains the similar arcing motion of the oar. I found that this helps athletes connect the pressure into the pin idea and transfer the skill back to the water. So, if you must bench pull well to get more from the exercise with less stress on the ribs. If you don't need to bench pull, then I recommend using other single arm and double arm horizontal pulling exercises for better rowing performance and lower risk of injury.